You should stop using tags in your listings because they don't help you rank in 2023 and they don't help you get traffic. So, what's your thoughts on Etsy tags in your listings? Should you, shouldn't you? What do you think on that statement? Is that true or false?
Do we have something stronger than false? That this to me, and Scott, we've seen this ourselves. This is blatantly false. Are they less important as Etsy gets smarter? Yes. Are they unimportant? No. Should you do them? Yes. Right? Should you spend all day worrying about getting the exact perfect tags? No. Should you not ever touch them? No, you definitely should include tags on your listing. And Scott, we've seen this with pay-per-click, right? Running Etsy ads, we weren't ranking or showing up, even trying to pay to show up for some keywords. Went into the listing, added it as a tag, miracle of miracles, we started showing up, right? Magic happened and we started showing up. So whether or not it's the most powerful ranking factor or not, take the 10 seconds, 30 seconds, maybe a minute to drop in those tags and fill it out. Even if it didn't rank directly for you, right? Even if it wasn't the thing, the most important thing, which it's not, right? You have title, description, click-through rate, conversion rate, all of these things that Etsy uses to determine how and when you rank for something. It just is another data point, and not taking the time to do it is hurting your sales. I don't think I'm out of the box saying that, right? Even if it only worked for ads, it would be worth putting them in there, right? So I don't know what your thoughts are on this, but to me, this is blatantly false.
Yeah, no, again, it's one of those things that if Etsy is giving us the ability to add something, then we probably should add something, right? If they're allowing us to put tags in there, we should put them in there. Now, am I saying that you should spend a whole bunch of time getting all of the best tags and putting them in there? No, I mean, I would put in enough time to where you're able to come up with a lot of long tail or other related types of keywords, because that's really what we're doing. And you always want to think about it this way, at least I do, is where I am putting any type of information in that listing is also being crawled by the Etsy search engine. Once again, Etsy is a search engine for people that are searching to buy things. Okay. It's a buyer's search engine, which is amazing. Okay. So if we are thinking about our description, I mean, heck, we can even talk about our images. Images are also a place to where you could be found because you can actually add the title or the keyword in that, in where you're editing that now. So there's some really cool stuff that we can do with that. They're going to be searched for and found and help with your listing. So anything that we're able to write, all right, something into our listing, we want to do it. And like Chris said, I wasn't sure how much weight that Etsy put into tags until I started looking at my Etsy ads as far as, okay, these things are starting to show that this person came from this keyword, which was located in a tag. So let me say that again. When you go into the back end of your Etsy ads, you can see the keywords that brought people there. And you can also, one little ninja tip here, you can also turn them off. If you see something that came in, it was a very generic keyword and you're like, I don't want to show up for that. You can turn that off, by the way, little ninja tip. But you can also see that it will show you it came in from the title or it came in from a tag, and it'll show you exactly where it came from. So when we say that, yes, tags are important and they do help your listing get indexed and get found, then yes. And I saw a question come in and it said that someone was told to leave their tags alone for 30, 60, or 90 days, something like that. Now, I am a fan of not going in there and playing too much. And I do agree, and I have seen this. When you change your title, it is definitely going to take you out of the indexing for a little while, and then it'll bring you back. That is definitely something. So that's why you don't want to be playing around. If you're not ranking, you want to be careful with adjusting things, right? So get it close, do your research up front, plug it in, and let it sit. It's same thing as like a blog post or a YouTube video or anything. Like once you put it out there and it gets indexed, you don't want to screw that up. So don't go in there and mess around with it too much.
I there's not a lot of reason to go in and mess around with it. other than if you're getting the data back from something like Etsy ads. And Scott, I think I want to go to Etsy ads next, just because we've touched on it a bunch of times. There's no reason to go in and change your title and change your description and change your tags all of the time, unless we see compelling data to the contrary, right? So if we're not getting the sales that we want out of a listing, and somebody had asked about Everbee's tag analyzer, right? Yes, we're going to go look at our competitors, see what tags they're using that we aren't, and potentially drop them in. If we're getting a keyword that we see is converting to sales every time somebody clicks on it from Etsy ads, are we going to add that to our tags? Yeah, probably, right? Like, we'd be crazy not to. And so when we have a data point, then go in and change it. But we don't need to be tweaking our listings. And I don't think we have that on our list of things that we're hearing that's bad advice. But constantly touching your listings is horrible advice, regardless of how old it is. It's even more detrimental to new listings. Getting it up and letting it sit and get some impressions is one of the most important things that you can do. Right. And Scott, the other thing on tags is we often hear, and actually somebody over on YouTube had asked, do we have to fill out all of the tags? And my piece of general SEO advice would be always make it as long or as full as it needs to be, and not longer. So if you have 10 tags and those are the only ones that make sense, fill out 10 tags. The worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to find an extra one when you do a competitive analysis. You're going to find one from pay-per-click. Then you have some spaces and you don't even have to really worry about it, right? Same thing I would say goes for the title. Do you have to fill out the full character count? No, stop when it stops making sense, right? Same thing with the product description. Do I have to fill out the block until it gives me a red error and says you put in too many characters? No, fill it in with as much detail as makes sense and then go from there. So I don't think you need to touch it often. I don't think you need to totally fill it out and micromanage it. And I don't think you need to worry about it that much, but you do need to put in the things that make sense. And once you do that, let it sit until you have data that tells you otherwise.